talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. One, two, three, four. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking on your Monday night? Hope you're having a good one. Tonight we're going to tell you all about the Sullivan brothers. Tragic story, patriotic story from World War II. It'll blow your mind. It's really an interesting story in American history. Welcome one, welcome all. Metal Maiden Vicky has joined us. Hopefully she got to see our brand new Open that we just got finished. Oh, sorry, I'm only in one channel. You know, because StreamYard's, there we go. StreamYard's always helping. Lawrence is here. Hello, Lawrence. Nice to see you here. Metal Main Vicky says, love the new show opener. I just shared it around. I posted it, of course, to Sonic Asylum Radio on their Facebook page that's gracious enough to host our show every evening. And, of course, you can see Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria on sonicasylumradio.com every Saturday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. She says, thanks for including my interview picture in the vid. Well, you know, special guests of the show get to have privileges like that. Metal Maiden Vicky says, hello, Lawrence. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet as verified by independent sources. Before we get started today, please share, like, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those free things that you can do that help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. Plus, we do have super chats. We do have memberships. We love it when you take advantage of those because it helps us pay the bills around here. And, of course, turn on those gifted memberships. We have a lot of very generous, gracious, kind-hearted people that will just gift out of the goodness of their heart a membership to the Tom Gulley Show so that you can take advantage of that members-only exclusive content that you so desperately crave and you so rightfully deserve. Metal Main Vicky says, those SG fanboy pages are the best. Some I had not seen yet. They are the best. People saying hi. He is so talented with that stuff. He really is. And thanks to Leon Kennedy for the song. Terry Nee says, I'm here for you. Thank you, Terry. Hold me. In the background, one of our, as usual, custom backgrounds for the show. This is the memorial page for the USS Juneau, which was the ship the Sullivan brothers were serving aboard on the fateful day that we will get to in just a few moments. I might wait until a few more people get here because some of them have not seen the Open. Terry Nee, as a matter of fact, member for 10 whole months. I think that's worthy of getting the point. Terry, there's the point. StreamYard, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Terry's been a member for 10 whole months, and we've loved every second of it. Metal Maiden Vicky says, I was watching a previous OU show where Kiss was one of the topics. While I do love the band, they are indeed very overrated. Way too much merchandise. Gene and Paul have always considered the band a business and not a band. Well, that's true. Terry Nee says, Juneau, the capital of Alaska. Juneau? I don't know. Juneau? Metal Maiden Vicky says, I've seen Kiss many times, and they if you say so. I can't dignify them with the biggest hit is a ballad, a rock power ballad or whatever. Beth, I think that's their biggest hit. Their 3D Psycho Circus was I don't really want to talk about Kiss. Winger, Kiss, right below Winger. Winger, worst band of all time. Then Kiss is like right there. Just right there. I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. That might indeed be their biggest hit. I don't think it is. I think Beth is. I don't know. Gilman is here. He says, hello, Gully Heads. Hello to you, Gilman. Always nice to see you here. Let's see here. I think I do want to play the Open again, though. Just for those of you who didn't see it. He says, I know, but I had to comment on that show. That's all for now. God, I hope so. Because I can't stand Kiss. I really can't. I'm going to take the banner off. I'm going to get myself back into the mode that's, stereo. I can't believe StreamYard. Like, everyone else would just broadcast in stereo. And they would convert this mono one channel microphone to both channels. They don't do that. See, now I'm one channel. It's really embarrassing. It's really, really embarrassing. All right, let me get this off of here. I'm going to play the opening again for those of you who are just arriving. The brand new opening. Just created it this weekend. Sorry about the one channel. Here we go.
We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about her biting, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about fur biting, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Okay. That's our new opening. That's both channels right there. How about that? That's more than one channel because you guys deserve both of them. Let's catch up with some of these comments, and then I'll tell you all about the Sullivan brothers. Let's see here. Metal Maiden Vicky. People saying hi. People saying hi. A spider. Can't really see it in that reverse knocked out thing. And Chef is in the house. We always love it when the chef is in the house. All right, let's get down to cases, shall we? I'm going to tell you all about the Sullivan brothers. The Sullivan brothers. The Sullivan brothers were 5 brothers from, of all places, Waterloo, Iowa. That's right, Waterloo, Iowa. And they served together on the light cruiser, the USS Juneau. I'll have photos of that for you in just a second. And all 5 brothers were killed in action when the Juneau was involved in the naval Battle of Guadalcanal, and that was in November of 1942. The Juneau was crippled by a torpedo that was fired from the Japanese destroyer Amatsukaze, and then finished off by a torpedo fired from the Japanese submarine I-26. On Saturday, and this is somewhat recent, on Saturday, March 17th, 2008, the wreckage of the USS Juneau was discovered off the coast of the Solomon Islands by the expedition crew of RV Petrel, owned at the time by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen. So, the 5 brothers were the sons of Thomas and Aletta Sullivan of Waterloo, Iowa, and they were George Sullivan, 27. He was a gunner's mate, 2nd class. Francis Henry Frank Sullivan, he was 26. He was a coxswain. And Joseph Eugene Joe Sullivan, seaman second class. Madison Abel Matt Sullivan, seaman second class. And Albert Leo Al Sullivan, also a seaman second class. Now, two of the brothers, had previously been discharged in May of 1941 as ranks lower than they would later attain. The brothers were survived by their parents and a sister, Genevieve, and Genevieve served in the Waves. The Waves, of course, were part of the United States Naval Reserve, known as the Waves, which stood for Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Services. She was the girlfriend of Bill Ball, whose death while serving on board the USS Arizona at Pearl Harbor prompted her brothers to join the Navy to avenge him. So they all joined up together, same ship, to avenge the boyfriend of their sister. Al had a wife and a child. Joe left a fiance. Matt left behind a fiancée as well. Al Sullivan's son served on board the first USS the Sullivans. That's right, they had a naval vessel named after them that I will tell you about in just a moment. The grandmother of these boys christened the first ship. The second USS the Sullivans was christened by Al's granddaughter, Kellyanne Sullivan Loughran. So the Sullivans enlisted in the U.S. Navy on January the 3rd, 1942, with the stipulation that they serve together. In mid-1942, the Navy promulgated a policy of separating siblings, but this was not strictly enforced. George and Frank had served in the Navy before, but the rest of the brothers have no naval experience this time. All five of them were assigned to the light cruiser, the USS Juneau. And there is the Juneau itself. This photo was taken in 1962 of sort of a replacement to the Juneau. Wasn't the actual Juneau. Just the new one that they made. Wait, let me see here. What the heck I got here on this thing? That's actually the Sullivans. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I do not have a photo of the Juneau. This is the first naval vessel that was named after them. I'll give you all the details in just a second, but that's the Sullivans. But it's a lot better than looking at my face. The Sullivans were not the only brother sailors on board. Why don't I put this? This is the memorial to the Juneau. Now that is the Juneau. I'm so sorry. I look like a real stoop right now. But that's the Juneau, and that is from the memorial to that particular vessel. Which, by the way, is in the Manila American Cemetery and Memorial. There you are. So they were not the only brother sailors on board the ship. At least 30 sets of brothers served on the Juneau, including two Rogers brothers from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Before the ill-fated Savo Island operation, two of the Rogers brothers were transferred to other commands. According to those who survived, the ship had returned to port safely and had the ship returned to port safely, at least two Sullivans would have also been transferred. So the Navy was kind of, even though that policy wasn't strictly enforced regarding siblings, they were kind of transferring brothers apart from each other. The Juneau had participated in a number of naval engagements during the months-long Guadalcanal campaign beginning in August of 1942. Early in the morning of November 13th, 1942, during the naval Battle of Guadalcanal, Juneau exchanged fire with the destroyer Udachi, but failed to make any hits. However, the cruiser became the focus of the destroyer Amatsukaze, which had just sunk the destroyer, the USS Barton. which proceeded to fire a spread of 4 torpedoes. One of these torpedoes made their mark on the Juneau, cutting the speed to 13 knots, breaking the keel, and disabling electrical power. So the Juneau was still somewhat functional, but badly crippled, and therefore had to withdraw from the battle. Later that day, as it was leaving the Solomon Islands for Allied area base, a rear base sort of called Espiritu Santo, with other surviving U.S. warships from the battle, well, it was located by the Japanese submarine I-26, which fired 2 torpedoes at the crippled heavy cruiser USS San Francisco. Now, while they both missed the San Francisco, one of those hit the Juneau. The torpedo likely hit the thinly armored light cruiser at or near the ammunition magazine, and the ship was blown in half and very quickly sank in a very fiery explosion. Captain Gilbert C. Hoover, commanding officer of the light cruiser USS Helena, and the senior officer president afloat of the battle-damaged U.S. task force, was skeptical that anyone had survived the sinking of the Juneau. And he believed it would be reckless to look for survivors given the activity of Japanese submarines in the area, and he thereby didn't want to expose his wounded ships to those still lurking Japanese vessels. So therefore, he ordered his ships to continue towards Espiritu Santo. Helena signaled a nearby B-17 bomber on patrol to notify Allied headquarters to send aircraft or ships to search for survivors. In actual fact, though, approximately 100 of the Juneau's crew had survived the torpedo attack and the sinking of their ship and were left afloat in the water. The B-17 bomber crew, under orders not to break radio silence, did not pass the message about searching for survivors to their headquarters until they had landed several hours later. The crew's report of the location of possible survivors was mixed in with other pending paperwork and actions. Remember, this was a tremendous naval effort, and the Battle of Guadalcanal wasn't just taking place on the waters, it was also taking place on land. So it went unnoticed for several days. It was not until days after the ship had been sunk that headquarters realized a rescue operation had never been mounted and belatedly ordered aircraft to begin searching the area. And in the meantime, the Juneau's survivors, many of whom were seriously wounded, were exposed to the elements, hunger, thirst, and yes, repeated shark attacks. 8 days after the sinking, 10 survivors were found by a PBY Catalina search aircraft and retrieved from the water. The survivors reported that Frank, Joe, and Matt were all killed instantly. Al drowned the next day, and the final brother, George, survived for 4 or 5 days before suffering from delirium as a result of hypernatremia. Sorry, my glasses just slipped out. This show is just completely off the rails today. It's basically a high concentration of sodium in the blood. So, salt. High concentration of salt in the blood. I've also now completely lost my place. Okay, there we go. Others said, no, it wasn't hypernatremia. He was driven insane with grief at the loss of his brothers. In any case, he climbed over the side of the raft he had occupied, fell into the water, and he was never seen or heard from again. Security requirements dictated that the Navy not reveal the loss of the Juneau or the other ships so as not to provide information to the enemy. Letters from the Sullivan sons, well, they stopped arriving at the home there in Waterloo, Iowa, and the parents became worried, prompting the mother, Aletta Sullivan, to write the Bureau of Naval Personnel in January of 1943, 2 or 3 months later, citing rumors that survivors of the task force claimed that all 5 brothers were killed in action. Now, her letter was actually answered by President Franklin D. Roosevelt on January the 13th of 1943, and he acknowledged that the Sullivans were missing in action, but by then the parents were already informed of their fate because the day prior, January 12th, the boy's father, Tom, was preparing for work when three men in uniform, a lieutenant commander, a doctor, and a chief petty officer, approached the door. "I have some news for you about your boys," the naval officer said. "Which one?" asked Tom. "I'm sorry," the officer replied. "All five." The Fighting Sullivan brothers became national heroes. President Roosevelt sent a letter of condolence to their parents. Pope Pius XII sent a silver religious medal and rosary with his message of regret. The Iowa Senate and House adopted a formal resolution of tribute to the Sullivan brothers. There's quite a few memorials to the Sullivan brothers. What you're seeing before you now is a poster that was used to drum up support funds for the war effort, because the story of the Sullivan brothers was quickly national news. It reads, "The five Sullivan brothers missing in action off the Solomons." Missing in action is in quotations. Everybody knew what that meant. They did their part. So encouraging others to do their part in kind. The Sullivan brothers have a Department of Defense Dependent Schools elementary school in Yokosuka, Japan, named in their honor. A museum wing has been built in honor of their service in World War II. The museum is located in downtown Waterloo, Iowa, their hometown. It was completed in 2008. The brothers' hometown of Waterloo, Iowa, renamed its convention center in 1988 as the Five Sullivan Brothers Convention Center. In June 2017, the city was considering a proposal to sell the center to a developer who would renovate the facility and change the name. The proposal met with some community opposition. Town also named a street and a public park in their honor. The park is the location of their childhood home. Tom and Aletta Sullivan made speaking appearances at war plants and shipyards on behalf of the war effort. Later, Aletta participated in the launching of a destroyer, the USS, this is it, sorry folks, the Sullivans, named after her sons. Thomas and Aletta Sullivan toured the country promoting war bonds and asked that none of their sons died in vain. As a direct result of the Sullivans' death and the deaths of four of the Borgstrom brothers within a few months of each other, 2 years later, the U.S. War Department adopted the Sole Survivor Policy. The Sole Survivor Policy was a set of regulations stipulated by law that were designed to protect members of a family from the draft during peacetime or wartime for serving in the same combat or theater or vessel or unit. The Navy named this destroyer the Sullivans. This is the DD-537. Also, later on, after the first Sullivans was retired, they named another one, the Sullivans, the DDG-68. The DD-537 was the first American Navy ship ever named after more than one person, and the motto for both ships was, and is, because this ship is still in service, "We stick together." The Sullivan's Association, an organization of veterans who served on both U.S. Navy ships named after the brothers, conducted a reunion on September 25, 2011 in Waterloo, Iowa. The attendees gathered at Sullivan's Park, visited Calvary Cemetery, and laid flowers at the graves of the Sullivan brothers' parents and sister, and visited the neighborhood where the family had lived. Now, the Sullivan story was actually depicted in a movie which was originally called The Sullivans and later renamed The Fighting Sullivans. And that movie was released in 1944 while the war was still going on. It inspired, in at least part, the 1998 film Saving Private Ryan. The Sullivans were also briefly mentioned in Saving Private Ryan. The song Sullivan by the alternative rock band Carol and Spine tells the actual story of the Sullivans. Now, that original movie in 1944, originally titled The Sullivans, later changed to, The Fighting Sullivans, is somewhat biographical. There's a lot of poetic license taken in this film, but it is a good portrait of the Sullivan family. Irish-American Catholics, very close, doted on by their mother, and given stern but loving guidance by their father, who was a railroad freight conductor. Each day the boys climb the water tower by the tracks to wave to their father as he passes by on the train. The boys are shown getting into their fair share of trouble growing up, fights, a near drowning, which makes their mother make them promise not to set on foot a boat again until they're adults, and other wacky hijinks. There's a lot of various sort of melodrama things that occur. The boys insist that they serve on the same ship, but the recruiting officer, played by Ward Bond, states that the Navy can make no such guarantees. The boys leave, but later George receives his draft notice and writes to the Navy Department obtaining official permission for them to serve together. Anyway, the movie sort of continues, but the movie actually contains quite a few actors of note. Ann Baxter is Catherine Mary Sullivan. Thomas Mitchell plays the father. Thomas Mitchell was Uncle Billy in It's a Wonderful Life. Ann Baxter, of course, in The Ten Commandments and countless other films. Selena Royal played Aletta Sullivan. And there are a number of other actors of note. Ward Bond is famous for being in lots of John Wayne movies, and was also in Wagon Train. He's also Bert the Cop in It's a Wonderful Life. Bobby Driscoll is in this movie, and Bobby Driscoll was an incredibly popular and well-known child actor. He was in a lot of Disney features, including Treasure Island and Song of the South. So there are a number of extremely well-known actors in the film The Fighting Sullivans. So that is really all I have to tell you today about the Sullivans. There is much more. You can go much deeper into the recovery in 2018 of the actual ship, and that's always fascinating. And there are somewhat more details, accounts of the boys' service aboard the Juneau, but this is the real story of those five brothers who refused to be separated and tragically ended up losing their lives in the naval battle of Guadalcanal, but also serving as an example to everyone during World War II of sacrifice and togetherness. And for that, we owe a great debt to the Fighting Sullivans. Let's get to some of your comments here real quickly. People saying hi. The coach says, hi, just got here. Sorry I'm late. Hello to all my friends in chat. Oh, hey, Tom. Julian Zeezer says, around the Solomon Islands, by the time you saw a Japanese destroyer, it was a truism that the torpedoes were already in the water heading towards you. Boy, that was for sure. Metal Maiden Vicky's saying hi. People saying hi. Metal Maiden Mickey says, so heart-wrenching just picturing the scene when they went to their parents' house to deliver the news. Very similar to the scene. It's a wonderful scene in Saving Private Ryan. I mean, it's cinematically wonderful, where the mother is doing the dishes and household chores, and the military vehicle pulls up, and out gets the chaplain and someone from and she instantly knows why they're there. So yeah. People saying hi. Always love it when people are saying hi. By the way, we're halfway through. Please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. If you can toss this baby onto your, social media accounts, a link to it. You could just go to the Tom Gulley Show YouTube page and copy the opening and send it onto your social media because it's got the subscribe button at the very end. And that would be wonderful. Plus, we do accept those super chats and we do accept those memberships. We love it when you do that. Helps pay the bills around here. StreamYard's horrifyingly bad service is not cheap. You'd think it would be, but it's not. They charge for that stuff. Also, last but not least, turn on those gifted memberships. A lot of generous people just dish out gifted membership like they're handing out Tic Tacs. They really, really do. I've seen it in my own personal life. I really have. Anyway, I was hoping Stanley Cross would be in here tonight because he's a big naval guy. And he probably knows both of these ships. The Sullivans, only one of the reasons it's famous is the reason I told you about earlier. It is the first naval vessel to be named after more than one person. They just said, hey, just call it the Sullivans. It'll be a fighting ship. And that was kind of part of the movie when they changed the name to the Fighting Sullivans. It was that stereotypical rowdy, boisterous, brawling Irish family that, fought amongst itself, but you didn't want to pick on one of them because then you'd have the entire Sullivan family to answer to. It was, let's just say, Hollywooded up. And by the way, not mad at him. Not mad at him because it was during the war that it was released. They were doing everything they could to get people on board for the war effort. The chef here says there's a scene in Saving Private Ryan where a general is reading about brothers that were lost in the Civil War. I believe it's pretty good. It's called the Lincoln Letter. That's actually known as the Lincoln Letter, and we might do a show on that at some point. It's a very, very famous letter. There's also the Borgstroms. There's a number of examples. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's the ice cream man. Anyway, he's gone. There's a number of stories from World War II of brothers that were killed in action. And of course, there's the famous Civil War example with the Lincoln Letter and the Fighting Sullivans. At the end, they're all superimposed, kind of ghost-like at the end of the movie. I've seen it several times. It's pretty good. I'll watch any movie with Thomas Mitchell in it, Uncle Billy. But it's really very well known in military circles, certainly in naval circles. And the Sullivans, brothers till the very end. Till the very end. I wish my phone software would open so I could tell you that I don't even have the begging up at the bottom of the screen. There's the begging. There, I verbally did the begging. Now you can see the begging and type. You can see that all you want. Oh, come on. Open. Open says me. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully everybody likes the new opening. God knows I don't want to take the heat if somebody doesn't like the opening. Phone lines are open at 972-994-6822. The number is in the scroll at the bottom. Since it doesn't look like we're going to get a single donation today, I'll go ahead and put the number up here in a second. Metal Meat Vicky says, curious as to your shirt tonight. Again, Tom. This is one of my Elvis Costello shirts. I have a vast amount of Elvis Costello shirts. None of them, of course, the rest of what we can see anyway, well, none of them made their way into the video. Actually, your guy over at Sonic Asylum Radio, George Neal, made a meme of Elvis Costello holding up a placard with my logo on it that I almost put in the new opening video. But I ended up not doing it because I thought that would be pandering. And I don't know if Mr. Costello watches the program or Mr. McManus, whichever he'd prefer. So I didn't think I could make that claim. Chef says, Summer Rose and I have been to the monument of the USS Indianapolis multiple times. And of course, since the chef lives in Indianapolis, he can go down to the Soldiers and Sailors Monument anytime he wants. The famous, iconic symbol of the city of Indianapolis, right in the center of the downtown of Indianapolis, in what they call the Circle. It's pretty awesome. Metal Main Vicky says, did he? George loves to Photoshop too. I may have that picture saved. No, I actually have it saved. It's here. He did one, put me as the most interesting man on earth. He has one with Bob Ross painting the Tom Gulley Show logo and everything else. The Wolf is here. He says, hello, folks. We're definitely playing the open again. The new opening video, because the Wolf has to see it. I'd have to look. Hello, Wolf. I have all the things George did for me. I have every single one of them, obviously, because George rocks, and that's the sort of thing I do. Since the Wolf is here, I'm going to go ahead and play the opening again. First, I have to get it in stereo, which ironically makes me one channel. So, okay, now I'm going to play the opening for you. Okay, here comes the opening. Just a second. It's only one channel right now. I'm going to play the opening. Whoops, I don't have to do that. Sorry, here you go. Well, let me take this off. And then let me do this.
We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we're talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
There we go. That's the new opening of the show. Hope you liked it. You'll see it at the end. It's also the closing. Fear not. It'll also be the closing. It'll be fabulous. It'll be just fabulous. It'll be great. Phone lines are open at 972-994-6822 if you want to do that sort of thing. Let's see. We got people saying hi. People saying they'll look. I have them all. I saved them all. I was looking at them yesterday when I made this video. People saying hi. People saying hi. People dancing and showing spiders. And hello, Dupa. Always nice to see you. And people saying hi. Don't know what tomorrow's topic is going to be yet. My topics thing is it's just gone crazy. I don't have the neatly. I have to go through this and rewrite them all down because they're just written on William Goldman. They're all over the place. Some of these I've done actually since writing them down. Let's see. I already did Haggis. I've got some people I need to call for interviews. I've got there's just too much. Rona Barrett. I haven't done that one yet. I've just got too many of these cards all over the place, and I've got like a million old overrated, underrateds, and all sorts of other notes and junk and things to do. And let's see here. Chef says, going to the top of the monument circle with a girl probably get you a kiss or two. And if you go there, the basement of the Soldiers and Sailors Monument has an incredible little museum down there with Civil War uniforms with bullet holes and all sorts of other stuff. It's pretty cool. People saying hi. People saying hi. Phone lines are open at 972-994-6822. Super Chats, memberships, bring them on, baby. I had to work on the video all weekend. I don't know if you guys like it or not, but that's the new opening. I'm sorry. Don't expect a better one there's no better one coming along. That's it. That's it, folks. People saying hi. That's as good as it's going to get, frankly. I might do Lenny Bruce tomorrow. Tomorrow may be Lenny Bruce. And then later in the week, I believe I will do, and I'm thinking this will be Thursday, but it could be Wednesday, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It might be Thursday. I'm going to try and find another weird thing for Wednesday. Something weird, man. Maybe, you know what would make a great topic for Wednesday? Carnivorous plants. Man-eating, no, they're just flesh-eating. Mostly they eat insects. It's not like they can eat a person. I'll just call them killer plants. Now, that's not even accurate because there's a lot of, like hemlock will kill you, but it don't eat you. Metal should like it. Metal Main Vicky should like it. Metal Main Vicky says, great new show opener also for an upcoming Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh, well, then that's definitely being done, and that will be on Thursday. Unless, of course, you can't make it on Thursday, and then I'll change the date. Thank you so much for the $5. Much appreciated. Very much appreciated. And, of course, Metal Main Vicky, that gets you the point. Look at that. Look at that. That's I'll tell you what. You can tell the kids at school about that one. Another reference to USA, 100% weird. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Not even a clue as to what you're referring to. Not even a germ of a shred of a clue what that is in reference to. Metal Mean Vicky says, What does that bouncing pink 20 in the top right of the super chat box? I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at. Does anyone else see that? I don't see one, but I'm looking at it on StreamYard. I don't watch the YouTube. I watch it on StreamYard. Why am I so tiny? It is so messed up that StreamYard changed this setup and that now I can be in this mode, like right here, and then I can make the picture big. And if I was to get rid of the picture, it's just stupid. It's not the way that it used to be. So it requires me to be smarter. Julian Caesar says, it says below it, let's celebrate their 20th super on a live stream. I don't know what that means. It says below it. Julian, a pronoun is a fine thing. But to its, do you mean the caption says below what? I'm sorry, folks. I write for a living. Oh, I see that now. Thanks, Julian. Well, I still don't know what the hell you're talking about. So Kim Warfield says, come on, USA Up All Night. Also ran 100% weird, like movies like 500,000 Hands. Okay, I do not know what you're doing right now. I don't know. We've got another reference to USA Network. Is that what you're talking about? USA Network? Because when you say another reference to USA, I have no idea what's going on right now with you people. Metal Maiden Vicky says, below my green super chat sticker. Okay, here's your green super chat sticker. I'm in StreamYard. I don't see any other things. Loved USA Up All Night. Well, there's another topic then. USA Up All Night. We'll do one on USA Up All Night. Here's me doing today's show like the chat room would do it. A thing happened to some guys on a boat. Specificity. The soul of wit. Maybe says, this is what shows below the green sticker. Okay. Let's celebrate their 20th super on a live stream. So, there would mean you? But I'm willing to celebrate anything at this point. I don't give a damn. Whatever. Melanie Vicky says, if they mean my 20th super, I have no clue. I don't think I've done 20 of those. Who knows what nobody knows. It's just another one of those things that people go, and I'm supposed to just discern while I'm doing a show all of the, it's, Look, I know, believe me, I know that you think that I'm Galumbo. And maybe I am Galumbo. But I can't do detective work while I'm doing the show. I can do detective work on the topic that I'm doing, or an actual specific, well-stated, proper question. But just what's the thing that's showing on my screen? I'm not looking at your screen. I don't know. As you say, StreamYard is not helping. No, they're never helping. They're never, ever helping. Ever. I make a new open for this show, and this is the thing. Second. Just a lot of, Are you talking about history? Yeah, no, I mean the History Channel. Let's see here. Now you're being idle-minded. Metal knew what I was talking about. First of all, you weren't talking, you were typing. But if you're hearing voices, by all means, listen to them. No, I'm not being idle-minded. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff here. Here was the sentence in question. I don't relish having to do this, by the way, but I'm gonna. Where's it at? See, now I have to go sift through this. Another reference to USA. I don't know if you are aware of this. I just did a story about a U.S. Navy vessel. And it doesn't say TV, doesn't say Up All Night, doesn't say network, no television reference whatsoever. So don't tell me I'm being idle-minded. I deal in a world of precision when it comes to the written word. Things happened on a boat. Sorry, Tom, I'm guilty of this. You are aware of some of the chat, and it makes me think you are 100% aware. No one is 100%. No, it's nobody's fault. Right now, I'm just complaining because it's better shtick than than anything else. You who remembers every theme for every show. Well, I do remember a lot, but not, I can't, it is good. Okay, what's it? I mean, it's just, help me out a little bit. Wait, what do I know what you were talking about? Well, see, she now doesn't know what you're referring to that she knew that you were talking about, which indeed she may know of what you were talking about, but now she doesn't know what that thing is. And I'm supposed to keep track of all this? I can't keep track of every Cheerio in the box. Chef says, everyone say good night, Gracie. Good night, Gracie, and good night, Chef. So good to see you. So good to have you here with us. Julian Z says, good night, Chef. People saying goodbye. No, it say weird. Says weird. What says weird? A pronoun is a fine thing, but it's a bridge, not a road. Why don't I just play the opening again? I played it 3 times. 972-994-6822. We're not going to get any more donations. Forget it. I'll just put the phone number up. Where's Scott, the guy that wants to be producer? You can't remember the theme 100% weird as the theme for late movies on Up All Night. USA Up All Night. I don't remember that. No. But fear not. We're going to do an entire show on USA Up All Night. So, here's the way I think it's going to go. Here's how it's going to go down, folks. Lenny Bruce, not even going to happen this week. Maybe Friday. Carnivorous and or flesh-eating plants will be tomorrow. USA Up All Night will be Wednesday. And the Rocky Horror Picture Show will be Thursday. There you are. Wolf, you didn't even say what you thought of my new opening. I edited that myself. Did all that work myself. By the way, special thanks to Leon S. Kennedy for the song, to our very good friend and living legend, SG Fanboy, for some of the amazing graphics, and then also to my good friends at Connor Guitart, satisfying your custom guitar needs since 2023, who took all the headshots. Not that I don't feel like, never mind. Gilman says, I have to ask you a sports question. Who is your sleeper team in the NCAA tournament? That would be Ball State, because they're not in it. That's a sleeper. The women's team is in it. The women's team is dancing. The men's team, they ain't doing nothing. Let me see what our good friends. All right, so they lost to Central Michigan on March 4th. On I'm pretty sure they're out of it. I'm pretty sure they're done. I'm pretty sure they're done. Oh, let's see. MAC tournament 2025. Boom. Women claimed the thing. Oh, they've got all the teams. Men's basketball. Oh, they finished. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th out of 12 teams in the conference. That's impressive. That's impressive. This new guy we were going to get, boy, he was going to be the best thing ever. He played at IU. He coached at UCLA. And, oh, boy, weren't we going to just be great? I'll have to hit the news button here because, obviously, senior night a week ago, 5 days ago. Maybe they haven't. Oh, a disappointment. Ball State men's basketball ends season. Misses MAC tournament for second straight year. We didn't even get in the tournament. I thought everybody got in the tournament. State where the program is. What? Listen to what the coach said. This Mike Lewis. We need to bounce him. And here's the reason we need to bounce them. Maybe the top 8 teams out of 12 make it. Maybe that's how they do the tournament. That makes sense. That's fine. He says, we are in a situation where our basketball program is supported in a way that ranks 10 out of 12 teams in the MAC, which is where he finished. The issue is the level of support from within our university from a basketball standpoint. I don't think enough people understood where we were. I knew that when I took the job. Our women's program is supported in a way that they're first, at least second out of 12 teams within their competitors on their side of the MAC. In today's landscape of college basketball, your commitment to your program has to match the expectations, and there's nobody on our campus at Ball State, or should there be, where expectations are higher than the men's basketball program. I don't even understand. We just couldn't get over the hump and put a complete game together. I think this is just a small sample size of what our whole season was. Why don't you just keep telling? Lewis believes the right conversations have been had the last 3 months. While he wants the program to shine, he knows that the community wants that as well and wants to give it to him. Muncie deserves it. Ball State deserves it. East Central Indiana deserves it. The state of Indiana deserves it for Ball State to have a quality basketball program. Hey, Buckaroo. Rick Majerus came there and transformed. I don't know what the deal is with that guy. I was about to, but since you can't stand my language, what's the point? Oh, come on now, Wolf. Come on now. Come on. I can understand some of it. Damn keyboard. SEC is stacked to win it all. SEC will not win it all. It will be one of the usual suspects. Yeah, I don't care who wins it. The portal and the rest of it, I don't even care. Here's what I care about. No team since 1976 has gone undefeated and won the whole thing. We all know who that was. Last time Ball State was any good, they got junior college players that took them to the Sweet 16. They went out and they recruited. That's what made it happen. That's what made it happen. What was he saying? You were about to what? You were about to, I don't even know what you were about to do. It's just, I just don't. I made a new opening I agree with the Wolf. The FCC is not going to win it all. It will be one of the usual suspects. Now, see, I understood everything about that. Had a lot of specific nouns and very, to tell you the truth, Gil, man, I haven't paid any attention to college basketball this year. Look, I know I'm old, but when they quit making, everybody go for 4 years, I quit paying attention. The one and dones and all that, I'm just not interested anymore. I'm really not interested. Gilman says, is Cooper Flagg the next Gordon Hayward? If I knew who Cooper Flagg was, Cooper Flagg, doesn't he play for Duke? Let's see here. You poor fella, you are fading fast. I was referring to the theme. Oh, you were about to. Well, but you didn't. It's just, you said I was about to comment on the theme, but say, then I'd know. I know. But I don't. But I just don't. So, tomorrow, carnivorous plants. Wednesday, USA Up All Night. Maybe the Wolf will call in at the end of that episode. Because I know he probably has every single USA Up All Night on videotape at his house. Saved from back in the day amongst his 10,000 VHS tapes with all of recorded broadcast history on them. I admire that. I moved around too much. I couldn't keep carting around all those videotapes. I wish I had, because I recorded some great things. You know what I used to do? Remember when you used to get your monthly guide from the cable company? Your guide, your book with the schedule? I would go through the schedule with a pen, and I would circle all of the shows that I wanted to watch. And by the way, I always would get those 10 at a time VHS tapes and then set it for the slow speed where it was like 12 hours could go on one tape. And then I would program my VCR to record all of them for the month. And so I would just keep, when one of them got done, I would pull it out and put a new one in, and I had tons of that. Metalman Vicky says, I've started season 2 of Columbo. You and the Wolf should exchange notes. I know the Wolf, did you say you were in season 3? Season 3? I'm going to play the, incidentally, I'm going to play the opening, which is also the closing, just like it used to be. I'm going to double it up. I'm going to play it twice in a row at the end, because it's only 2.5 minutes long. And boy, won't that be a thrill for us all. Let's see here. I'm going to give the phone lines, and I'm just going to close them. I can't keep just living on a prayer. Hey, now there's a song title that somebody's going to call in. Phone lines are closed. Phone lines, they're closed. My ROI on my phone line expenditures is not good. Vicky says, I comment on Rumpel's podcast sometimes. Well, please do. I haven't seen Rumpel podcast around here in a while. He may have been offended by me saying his sister was really nice. I don't know. Maybe it's spring. He might have gone on a vacation for all we know. Dupa says, Rumpel has episode 16 recorded, but not yet posted. Okay. Has anybody seen Rumpled on any of the other shows and stuff? I hope I didn't do something to, The Wolf says, much as I love having thousands of movies running 7 VCRs at the same time, I will have to 86 those precious recordings. I'm on season 4, episode 2. And here's the thing, Wolf. You could never burn them to disk. You couldn't even digitize them and put them in a cloud. It's just too much stuff. And the time it would take to do it, you would literally be like in the year 2065 or something. Rumpled is a busy guy. He is a busy guy. That I do know. This is a time of year when a lot of people are on vacation. A lot of people, because of spring break. And they're dying to get away from the colder climates, and they go do things. And I don't blame them. Gilman says, Columbo, I just finished the series. Rich and Adrian was the inspiration. Yes, they are very inspiring. They do a damn fine show. I know, I don't like to use that kind of language, but they do a damn fine show. They really do. Was lucky to have them as guests. I have so many people I have to write notes to try and get as guests. Not even funny. I remember Ed Robertson said he wanted me to be on his show, and then he'd be on my. I still haven't set that up. I've got to try and get Ruta Lee. I've got to write a note to Robert Klein, which is never going to happen. But if I could just get an email response from him, I'd do a whole show on a direct message response. Metal Main Vicky says, also coming up on episode 800 of Dark Shadows. My Dark Shadows watching has been on pause for quite some. I think I'm on episode 500 and something. I can't remember. But Wolf says, I could pay Chuck's kids to do the taping. Well, that's an idea. Incidentally, Wolf, when I would just record months and months of cable, I wouldn't log the tapes very well. Like I wouldn't write down on the outside of the box what was on them. So I started working in Detroit, and in the very bottom, the basement of the building that this giant ad agency was, there was this little store down there. It was like a little convenience mart in the basement. And it was owned by some Asian people, and there was this super cool, super hip Asian girl. And she was very young. I was 33 at the time. So, I mean, I wasn't even hitting on her or anything. And she was probably 20 or 21. And she was just always down there reading stuff and everything and watching movies, watching a lot of stuff on video. And I one time I went, because she was complaining she didn't have anything else to watch. And I said, I've got a ton of stuff, and it's all like cult movies and bizarre things. And she was really into that. I said, well, I'll bring them in. If you want to log them for me, I'll give you money to do it. And she did. And I think I still have a few of those tapes that she, not many, but I have a few that she had really good handwriting. She wrote down, and some of them, like they didn't start on time, or another movie went too long, like it would back in cable, like if a ball game or something. Anyway, so she would write movie where a guy with a laser takes over a small town. What? That mean Vicky says Rumpel did leave a heart on my comment I made on yesterday. Okay, good. He's still up and at him. Sometimes when I don't see him for a while, I get worried. I worry about my kids. Dupa says, Vicky, one of these days I'm going to start Dark Shadows. It keeps climbing up my watch. Oh, start today. Dupa, they're only 20 minutes long. Now, Metal Maiden Vicky says you should start from the beginning. I don't recommend. I think you need to go straight to episode, 221 or whatever it is, when Barnabas arrives. You'll pick it up. It's a soap opera. You don't have to worry about it. But the episodes are, and maybe Metal Maiden Vicky will concur with me on this. One of the coolest things about Dark Shadows is the episodes are only 20 minutes long. You know, you're cranking through them pretty quick. Metal Maiden Biggie says, Dupa, yes, I think you would really dig it. There's no right or wrong answer. Reasonable people can disagree. Gilman says, what did you think about the Dark Shadows movie with Depp? It was vomit. It was terrible. Wolf says, she would have gone crazy on my tapes. I tossed about 400 I haven't even seen. You know, there's so much stuff. We talked about wiping and lost media and all that. I think in today's day and age, and probably since the advent of true robust cable with like 350 available channels, not that you got 350, but they had that many available. I think a lot of stuff has been, it's not lost media in terms of it doesn't exist. It's lost media in terms of it has been buried under an avalanche of other content. That's the problem now. It's not erased. It's just nobody heard of it. Nobody saw it. Nobody remembered it. Nobody cataloged it. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying about that? Metal Mean Vicky says, me and a lot of folks believe in starting at the very beginning. Yeah, well, a lot of other folks. If you noticed, Tubi started serving them up in like almost like, you know, individual books, like Barnabas Arrives or the 1795 story. They've chunked them up because I think they realize it's hard to watch 1245 or however many episodes. So they put like the whole Victoria Winters goes back to 1795 story in a thing, playlist. And then they put the whole Adam thing in a playlist. And there's one called Before Barnabas. So Metal Main Vicky says show number 1 when Victoria Winters boards the train to Collinsport to become the governess of Collinswood. So much happens in those first 200 episodes. However, many do feel the same as Tom, though. Show. Well, you know, it's just the show didn't become popular until Barnabas got on it. However, I read a really good article today because I'm on this Dark Shadows Facebook group, and a guy wrote a whole like paper about how Josette, who Barnabas desperately wants to like reanimate and bring her ghost back and everything else, is the least interesting character on the show. And I read it, and I first started reading it, and I'm like, well, come on, no way. Josette's always involved. He always mentions Josette. He's always trying to turn another girl into Josette or, you know, get her spirit into a living whatever. And then I started thinking about all the things he was saying, and I was like, this guy actually has something here. It's you know. Metal Main Vicky says, doesn't really start until Barnabas comes on screen. I watch it on Tubi. You know, go ahead and watch the beginning 200 episodes, 220, whatever. I mean, it's only 70 hours of television. The Wolf says, Movies Unlimited is great for finding lots of movies. Even they don't have everything. There's a lot of great play. I mean, YouTube itself has a lot of stuff you don't see. I've been watching these Grindhouse trailers from the 60s and 70s. Oh, my God. So many movies I watched back then that are so weird and bizarre and wonderful. You know, they're really good stuff. Dupa says, I'm going to start at the beginning, and if I don't get hooked, I'll skip ahead. Dupa, wise words indeed. Wide words. Metal Man Vicky says, yes, more supernatural stuff after Barnabas came on, but there's a fair amount of supernatural stuff before that. Well, it's more like Turn of the Screw or something. It's that hidden mystery supernaturally stuff. Did it happen? Did it not? Is it a figment of her imagination? Roger Collins goes, clearly she's forgotten herself. You've gone mad. You've gone a bit hyper. You're in a state of hysteria. I'm Roger Collins. Everything I say is very droll. Well, you might as well. Metal Man Vicky says, I love the scenes when David sees Josette at the old house. Yeah. David, man, I got a little bit of David goes a long way. I hate it when all the adults go, well, David always finds a way into these old buildings. He's very mischievous. Well, if anyone's going to get lost, it's David. If anyone's going to be in peril, it's David. If anybody's going to nib around the crypt, find the secret entrance, it's David. There's one part in the series where I think they go to the 1840s, and David is an old guy. He's an adult in the 1840s because he was like 9 in 1895, so he's like a 40 or 50-year-old dude. He's like a 40 or 50-year-old dude, man. And Sarah, so tired of Sarah. But the whole 1895 thing is crucial. 1795 thing is crucial because that's when Barnabas becomes a vampire. You learn how it happened. You learn why it happened. And a lot of other stuff. And you meet Ben Stokes, and Professor Stokes is so important. It's a very... Let's see here. Although right now David is Jameson now in the part I'm at. It's the 1897 timeline, yeah. There's the part where Dark Shadows started to go down the tubes was when Barnabas encountered hold on, I want to get the precise name. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, the Leviathan. The Leviathans. When he encountered the Leviathans, people didn't like it that Barnabas was scared of other. There was times when Barnabas was worried and was fearful that people would find out his secret or the sun was going to come up or things like that. But the Leviathans were a thing that Barnabas was scared. People didn't like that. Incidentally, after the 1897 saga, after that particular story arc, that's when the ratings started to decline. Yeah. The parallel time thing also wasn't great. Also, there was another soap opera called Somerset that premiered and was opposite, and it became very popular. Julie Zeter says, what makes a soap opera instead of just a TV show? It's romance and melodrama. Now, Dark Shadows was very different than any other soap opera that has ever existed before or since, with the exception of maybe Strange Island, which I don't consider a soap opera. It was more of a supernatural show. But it's just a lot of intrigue and romances, and that's, I think, what separates it, probably. Metalman Vicky says, Roger is Edward. I like it. I love it. Like local theater, same actors, different stories. Yes. And everybody switched up on that thing. It was great. Metalman Vicky says, Julian, I think more exaggerated drama, outlandish story themes, stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. Roger is Edward. Yeah. All old foppish Edward that's, really into art and, look, do we have to say what Edward really was? I mean, I don't know how they had David, let's put it that way. And then when he's Roger Collins, he's all stern and doesn't take any crap off anybody and runs his fleet of ships. Stuff. I better get out of here. We're going to have to do another Dark Shadows roundtable at some point. All right. Let's see here. Terry says, my virgin ears. Yes, Terry, you don't strike me as being very virginal. I don't know if Terry saw the opening. Oh, wait, I did copy him on a Twitter posting. You should have seen the opening. Anyway, I think I'm looking at that old clock on the wall. says, like the Reverend Al Green, it's time for me to get up on out of here. Tomorrow will be carnivorous plants like the Venus flytrap and the pitcher plant. And then Wednesday, we will have USA Up All Night with, at the behest of the man with all of recorded broadcast history on VHS tape, The Wolf, and the 9 monitors and 15 beat. He's got everything over there. And then Thursday, especially for Metal Main Vicky, we will do the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The Picture Show is what we're going to do. Let's see. Metal Main Vicky says, and you have to do things for someone's sake. Yes. Well, I should have thought, this voice. People laughing, people saying hi. Doopa Doopa Doo says, thanks, Tom and chat. Have a good night, everyone. You too, Doopa. It is always good to see you. Thank you for being here. You always make it a better show. All of you people do. Metal Main Vicky says, thank you for tonight's show, though I was not aware of the Sullivan brothers before. Well, that's kind of what we do here. We try to tell you about stuff you didn't know about, and we try to tell you things about the things you already did know about that you didn't know about. Or we just like to tell you about things you knew about and also knew about, and then throw just a little smile into our presentation. Just a little smile, a little twinkle. That's what we're trying to do here. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Oh, brother. I'd like to thank Terry Nee for sticking around for 10 months. Thank you, Terry. We boomers have to stick together. Metal Main Vicky says, great new show opener. Thank you for your $5 generous contribution to this effort. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with all that being said, I have to switch to stereo. Life's a dream, living in stereo. And then I'm going to play the theme. So they're ruining the drama that I normally have when I say, till next time, we'll see you next time.
We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we're talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about her biting, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking